to Casually Dressed and Deep in Conversation with me, Greg Chalmers. CDDC is sponsored by Pizza Daddy, Lanarkshire's #1 American-style pizza parlour. To stay up to date on new flavours and promotions, then get connected on the socials. The Instagram handle is @RealPizzaDaddy and the website is www.thepizzadaddy.co.uk. To see what we're getting up to here at Casually Dressed, then you can find us on Instagram with the handle @CDDC Podcast, and on Twitter it is @PodcastCDDC. And with me today as my co-host is Chris Shields.
How you doing, my man?
And our guest this morning is writer of Glasscity, David Cranna. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. How is the old lockdown treating you?
You know what? I can't really complain. I know that's kind of a terrible thing to say, but you know, it's pretty good. I've got a wee 1-year-old kid that I've managed to spend every day with, so it's been fantastic, to be honest. And of course, spending time with my lovely wife as well.
That's it. Throw her name in there as well, mate. That's it. But yeah, silver lining, but then, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, when are you ever going to get this amount of time to actually spend with your family? It'll never happen again. If we have another kid, you know, that kid will unfortunately not be lucky enough to spend as much time.
I thought you were going to say they're not going to be as loved.
Of course they'll be loved equally.
So, Dave, you've been filling your time, mate. For anyone who is listening to this and doesn't really know what's been going on, can you give us the kind of premise behind Glasscity?
Okay, so Glasscity Comics is basically it's an idea that I've had floating around for a long time, and I started writing comic book stories just in my spare time, just to be hobby, and then I came up with the idea of putting all these stories together under one big city. My inspiration behind basically every single story I've written is Glasgow. I started not painting a very nice picture or a pleasant picture of Glasgow. So I've morphed all that in together and I've come up with a Glasscity Comics, which is lots of individual stories. Some will intertwine with others, some won't. And it's all basically, the one single premise is they all take part in the same city.
Right, okay, cool. So is like main characters that are going to feature in different stories, or?
So each story will have a main character, and like I say, some will dive into other stories, and some will just completely stand alone. Right. So each story ideally want to be at least, if it's a standalone, it will be one part, about maybe 100 pages. If it's a story arc or a larger story, it will be over ideally three graphic novels. Right. So three big comic books, basically. And like I say, some of those characters will intertwine with other characters, some won't. It just depends on the actual story itself.
Wow, so that's brilliant. It's really interesting, like, because obviously, I actually had a little look at your website earlier, and I was kind of looking at you came up with three characters. I think one was with Gabe Gatty, Danny Bannon, and then Tommy Kalanick.
Tommy Kalanick, yes.
Yeah,
so he's on you go.
Yeah, I seen that. He was the one that you've kind of loosely based on Taggart.
Aye,
that's brilliant. Love that.
What basically happened was Taggart stopped airing maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I think, maybe a little bit longer than that. Yeah. And when I found that out, I was gutted because I love Taggart, you know. So I thought I'm going to reboot Taggart, and so I did.
A Scottish institution.
Aye, exactly. So I tried to reboot him in a modern day. I gave him a good backstory and all that. But obviously with, I never looked at any copyright or whatever. I just decided to completely change the character and make him my own. Because he was very loosely based on Jim Taggart, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So, but his name's, I think I update the website, his name's actually changed. He's now Arthur Kalanick.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Ever evolving.
So
absolutely.
So have you, the other characters, are they drawn from other kind of cultural figures in Scotland?
So Gabe Gatty, the reason I came up with the name Gabriel Gatty is I wanted to call my son Gabriel, but Lisa wouldn't let me. Yeah. So I decided to name my comic book hero after him. Gatty is a Italian name, and because Scotland's quite a lot of, way back in the day, and a lot of Italian immigrants came to Scotland. You go to the Italian, you know the chip shop. to Italy, basically. That's how they came over and created the chip shop. So because of that, that's the only reason that I chose Gatti. Stan Lee was a great believer in having double barrel names like Peter Parker, all these people, So Dave Gatti. That's basically how.
Yeah, I suppose the alliteration of those names makes them instantly kind of memorable, doesn't it? I mean, you automatically just remember those types of names, definitely.
Exactly.
So when I was looking at even just looking at the cover, I got a real sense of like a Sin City type thing. Was that a deliberate direction?
Definitely. Sin City is, Sin City is exact same idea. It's it's all based in one city. Frank Miller is a fantastic writer. I took a lot of inspiration from Frank Miller and Sin City in general. The only thing that makes it a little bit different is Glass City is based over, present day right up until 100 years in the future, basically. So that's the only kind of difference. But a lot of it is all the idea comes from Sin City. It's a great series of books, Sin City. If you've never read them, you should. They are fantastic.
Yeah, because I mean, comic books have never really been my thing. However, the kind of dark side of things, I think if I was going to go down that route and get into it, I would definitely go down the kind of darker direction. Is that what you enjoy reading?
Yeah. See, when I was a child, right, when I was a wee boy reading comic books, they weren't regulated, right? So you had all these dark stories, not like 10, 11, 12, 14, all these dark stories that were just given to you, and I'm sitting reading them going, this is absolutely amazing. It wasn't until kind of late 90s, early 2000s that someone decided these books aren't really for kids and started regulating them. Right. So for me, comic books have always been dark and always been gritty, and that's what's always appealed to me. You can imagine being 10-year-old and getting given a comic book where some guy's been head chopped off and some guy's been shot in the face. You're like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So that's where the inspiration comes from, for sure. So it's definitely, Glass City is definitely for the mature reader. Don't give it to your kids.
Parental advisory.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's not for children, man.
So when you were writing all this, sort of thing, what were the themes that you kind of took into consideration?
Anything that would be thought provoking, anything that's anything that just takes you out of your comfort zone. Basically, it's not something to sit back and have a jolly read. It's something to be like, whoa, what the hell? How's this going to pan out? It's all dark related adult themes throughout, a dark gritty content. It's just not for the faint-hearted. That's basically the ongoing theme. I draw inspiration from. I love mythology. Mm-hmm. So I'm not too sure about theology, so to speak, but certainly mythology. I absolutely love. I love all the Greek gods, Hindu gods, all that kind of stuff. So I take a lot of inspiration from that side of things, from the spiritual side of things. Mm-hmm. So moving forward in the book, you'll start to see a spiritual kind of background going on. What you see in the city isn't actually what's happening underneath it, which is kind of the way the world is at the moment. Maybe what you see on the surface isn't always what's going on underneath.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I was kind of thinking about obviously how a comic book's made, and kind of how the kind of ideas come about. Obviously, when you're kind of writing it, do you kind of what comes first? Is it kind of like the script or kind of the illustrations? What do they kind of naturally progress together? How do you go about it?
You know what I mean? I've been writing them as part time for I don't know, I'd say for about 10 years. So my writing style has changed. I would normally just think of an idea and that's how I would start writing it. And a few of my pals way early on, I emailed them over a script. Like weeks later, that was really good, Dave. Years later, they're like, I wish you could have stuck in a comma in there. I wish you put in a paragraph, because it was literally just a big, huge amount of words just written down. And now it's a little bit different. I break it all up, and you have to write the panel and also write what the character is saying. So if you look at a comic book, each individual picture on the one page is an individual panel. So you need to describe that panel, describe what's getting done, what's getting said on that panel, and then take it to there. So I've noticed my script writing now takes into account panels kind of before I start writing the dialogue.
Wow.
So who does the illustration?
So it's Roman Gubsky. Roman Gubsky is from, actually, I think he's from Russia, but he lives in Puerto Rico.
Oh, going international, Dave.
International. The letter is Ryan Bielik. He's from California.
So how did you tie in with all them?
So if you go onto Facebook, you can pretty much find forums or pages for every type of thing you want to do. And I just started searching for comic book Facebook groups. And that's how it's gone for basically. You know, Facebook for comic books and social media is just insane. If you get into the right groups, once you start finding one or two groups, opens you up to lots of other groups. And you just, just post constantly, and you'll eventually get a hit.
Do you know, it's kind of a testament to the modern age, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That you can send your idea and send it to one end of the world, and they contribute to it, and then to the. And do you know, it's funny because actually we had a singer-songwriter on. He's been on twice actually. Cool kid. His name's Ryan, and he has just he collaborated on that K-pop BTS album, and he was saying the same thing. They were sending him like part of a song, and then he would do bits and pieces with it, send it back, and then it would go to LA. They would do their bit on it. I suppose it's exactly the same thing.
It's exactly the same. It's truly amazing. You know, I mean, I'll come up with the script. I'll email it to Roman. Roman will come back normally through Messenger, Facebook Messenger, ask a few questions, clear a few things up, and then boom, sends me the file back. I'll look at it. I'm always amazed by how good the illustrations are. I then email that over to Ryan. Ryan sticks in the letter. Me and him are constantly back and forward, and then boom, finished page. Job done.
So how long does the whole process take, like to finish one comic book?
Well, it can vary really. You know, I mean, once you start paying them, they do things quicker. There's no doubt about that. You know, if you're not getting paid, things are all a bit slow. So it just varies. You know, it depends on your artist. It depends on your type. It depends. You know, sometimes it can depend on what they're doing at work. You know, your own work, your own general life. You know, because this is a hobby. There's no money in this for me at all. I'm doing it purely for the fun.
It's admirable. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's good. Honestly, I just love it, man. See when you're writing and you get your head stuck right into the story, it's brilliant. It's just a total escapism. And then to see all this coming back into an actual graphic novel form, you're just like, wow, this is amazing. You know, so it's worth it. It's worth it. I love it.
So on the title thing that I've seen, it says Glasscity, Story of a Missing Girl. Now, without giving up any real details, can you give us a wee sneak preview into what the actual what is actually happening?
So Gabe Gatty is a Glasscity detective. It's based 100 years in the future in Glasgow. Glasgow and Edinburgh are so big they've now basically become one city. The Glasgow side of it is called Glasscity. Glasscity is a reference to the violence in the city. It's exactly. It's a paint over the face, basically. I'm writing a story to describe that as well, but that'll come later.
And then there's next door, Chib Gardens.
I always stick that in. So he is 100 years in the future, and he's 5 years on from the disappearance of his own kid. And he stumbles across a case that directly mirrors his own. And he starts delving into this dark underworld and finding out what happened to this girl, which eventually will lead him on to what happened to his own daughter.
So actually, do you know, it's funny, because you're talking about being based in Scotland. Are you using Scottish colloquialisms?
I'm using everything. What I'm trying to do is I've got to be aware of the readers. You know, they're not all just from Scotland. They're also not all localised to Glasgow. So it's got to be, a kind of rounded vision for everyone, basically. But I'm definitely sticking some stuff in there. I'm also paying attention to the fact that it's 100 years in the future. There'll be a lot more. What was that word? Colloquialism?
Maybe that Caligula. No, colloquialisms.
There'll be different banter from that time.
Right,
So,
okay.
so I'm trying to stick some of that in there.
I think as well as it's like Scottish colloquialism. It's quite difficult to actually to read as well. I mean, I've read like a few like Irving Welsh's books and stuff like that, and it's all read and like and you kind of go like you've almost got to know it, and you're kind of going, what the? I don't even know. Like, see if somebody's saying it to me, I'll understand it, no dramas, I'll batter away with it. But like you go, nah, I don't know.
A book like that, once you get your head around how he's speaking, then you're all of a sudden you're just like, wow, it just dead easy. However, if you're not from that area, trying to read all that is not easy at all. So I've tried to keep it so that people can read it, so they're not put off by it.
Well, yeah, you've just got to make it as accessible as possible.
Exactly.
The whole Kickstarter process, right? So start from the beginning and take us up to where you are just now. So
I would say maybe about 2-3 years ago, I joined this cartoonist club.
Okay.
The Scottish Cartoonist Society, actually. And it was basically it was a meet up in Glasgow, and they're all getting smashed. So I was like, fine. What I find about comic book guys is, right, a lot of them, they're quite socially inept. So they need a baby in order to relax. So that suits me down to the ground,
Yeah.
So anyway, when I went there, they kind of put me on to the Kickstarter thing. They said, look, listen, you should try Kickstarter, check it out, see what's going on. I was a little bit unsure of it, like, I don't know if I ask my friends for money. And they're like, no, look into it, see what's going on. So I did. I started looking into it, and I realised Kickstarter is huge for comic books, massive.
Oh, really?
And, honest to God, it's more or less dedicated to comic books. And what it is, it's basically like a pre-order. So, and pre-orders for comic books is also massive. You're placing the order for delivery in October, basically. That's when the book will be finished. So as soon as I figured that out, I thought, I'm just going to go for this. I'm just going to do it. So I started getting things together, and that's it. And then I was due to launch in April this year. Well, obviously the world got locked down, and I was like, so I held off a little bit, and I was planning in September, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. And I'm glad I did, because it's worked out.
Well, yeah, so I suppose it's almost the perfect time to actually do this sort of thing like now. I mean, we're finding exactly the same, in that we kind of went, oh, do we keep going or do we not? But in actual fact, you're like, well, no, it's perfect because it gives you the opportunity, something to focus on, and then two, like, people are looking for something extra rather than just going, oh shit, there's this virus that nobody can see. You know what I mean? It's just the perfect time to kind of create a distraction almost for everybody.
I totally agree. I think there's so many things at the moment. Well, my pal, for example, started making t-shirts, one of which I'm wearing just now.
Excellent.
Shameless plug, Dave. Shameless plug.
Dana. And so, and he's really taken off. He's done fantastic with it. And, I see this thing happening all over. And I just think it's great. So like I said, it's a perfect opportunity. Everyone's sitting at home, 80% of their wages. They're like, let's buy some comic books and t-shirts.
Exactly.
Let's listen to some new podcasts.
Exactly.
It's great. And you know what? So another thing I found as well. See, because this video chat, for example.
Yeah.
I've joined a few cartoonist cafes and comic book cafes and stuff on video chat recently, and it's great. And I think it's something that won't disappear. If you had said to me maybe 6 months ago, "Oh, we'll get you on a Zoom chat," I'd be like, "Oh, can we do it in the office?"
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Whereas now it's like, yeah, let's do a Zoom chat. It's perfect. It's doing this. You bother.
Well, that's it. I mean, like even
sit my pants.
People do it in business as well. You kind of going.
I thought you were going to stand up there and reveal a set of Glasscity nickels.
Funny you should say.
Hey!
That's a good idea.
Sorry, Chris, carry on.
No, but like I was going to say, it's exactly right. I mean, like you look in business, people were, if you were to say, I'm just going to dial in and just do it over video conference, you've been laughed out of the office. Don't be so lazy, get yourself in. But actually now people are going, oh, wait a minute, people are working from home and we're not losing any sort of productivity. Well, this is and then obviously things like this are absolute just win-win for people, isn't it? I mean, it's
100%. I mean, see what you're just saying there. See if you look at the amount of money big businesses will be saving in office space.
Oh, so much.
See that alone is enough for me just to go, hold on a wee second here. Maybe this is actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Because everything is digital. You can see exactly what your staff are doing. I think it's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of forced the hand of some of the old dinosaurs in business who were like, no, everyone will be in, shirt and tie, and that's it. Get yourself chained to the desk. But yeah, it's just a different way of working now, isn't it? The quote a wanky term, the new normal. You know what I mean?
The new normal. I don't ever see
so wanky. I hate myself for using it, but
I get it, man. It's got to be done. You know what I mean? It's the new normal.
Yeah.
My wife works in an office, and then what is it? She said, what the way they see it is this is the biggest forced social experiment with regards to work there ever has been, and it seems to be winning on the side of stay at home. So you're working in your underpants.
I'm Lovely. All for it.
Do you not think that'll just mean that people are not going to be taking as good care of themselves? They don't have to like get dressed up and that, or not even get dressed up, but like get a haircut and go to the office. Do you know what I mean?
That sounds good to me, Greg.
That sounds dreadful to me.
I know it sounds dreadful to you. Mr. Clean shaven, clean cut, look at me. But you can still dress nice, that's alright.
I do, mate. I've listened every day.
You're looking very smart.
Thanks very much, mate. That's why I've got to wear a hat, man, because my hair is right out of order now. I swear to God. Look at you, man.
I know.
Streamlined, just ready for a wind tunnel.
Polished this morning.
What about your hair?
Easy now. I decided just to admit defeat and shame it. Actually, I'll tell you what actually happened. This is the truth, right?
Right.
So I went to the hairdressers, right? And I had a big beard and all that, as you maybe remember. And so I went to the hairdresser, I was going to get my head shaved and my beard trimmed. And I looked up and it was £15 for the two. I thought, okay, cool. 15 quid, no bother. I thought, that's fine. So I get my haircut, shaved, beard done, boom. And the guy charges me 12 quid. And I thought, hold on, even he is not charging me full price to get my hair cut because I'm that fucking bald. That was it. I've never been back to hairdressers. Went to the Amazon, ordered a set of clippers, boom, job cut.
That's a pity haircut.
Exactly. This guy felt bad about charging me the full price. So he's just like, I'm not going to charge him the full price. He's not going to pay to charge the full price. 12 quid per pal. Yeah, man. So I've never been back to hairdressing.
That is funny, mate. That's really funny. Oh. Do you know what else I was wanting to ask you, Dave? So obviously, see with all the DC and Marvel films that are incredibly popular nowadays, right? Do you think that these franchises and the popularity that they have is kind of amplifying people's awareness of graphic novels and comic books in general?
Oh, definitely, of course, man. Of course, when you start bringing these things into the mainstream media, then folks start to get that. Oh, I want to be in that gang. I want to be part of that type of person. And comic books have escalated or shot through the roof ever since kind of Marvel and DC have been doing the thing. More Marvel, to be honest, than I said in DC. Yeah. When Marvel started doing their stuff and started creating their universe, the comic books have started going up. But however, Marvel and DC comic books, I don't think are as, I don't know, they're still obviously, they get called the big two. Marvel and DC are the big two. But there's a lot of smaller comic books, Image Comics, for example, that are starting to rise up. Image Comics are in the back of, what's it called again? The Walking Dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay.
So Image Comics is The Walking Dead. So there's other stories as well that's coming out that's based off other and smaller kind of comic book publishers. But certainly Image Comics are definitely ones that are coming through. Great stories in Image Comics. Fantastic, actually. Well, that's my wife and kid just arrived. Hello.
So, you were talking about other comics and stuff like that. So, for anyone that's listening, if they like the dark stuff, Dave, right? And then once they've bought yours, right? What else should they be? What else should they be looking at?
You know what? I'll be honest, man. I would go. I could sit here and tell you Marvel, DC, Vertigo, Dark Horse Comics, Image Comics. There's hundreds of titles to choose from there. A quick Google search and you'll be able to find some good ones from there. However, the independent comic scene at the moment is amazing. And you know what? It's really pretty big in Scotland, to be honest as well. Aye, there's some really good stuff coming out of Scotland. Cultopia is probably one of the biggest ones at the moment. A guy called Dave Cook in Edinburgh. Dave Cook and Craig Patton. Craig Patton's in Glasgow. And super violent, super nuts. Absolutely. It's fantastic. And he launched on Kickstarter. He had a huge response for it. I think he earned something like £16,000 or something on it. I'm not 100% sure. But he's got a lot of comic books out. But in the independent comic scene is fantastic. Over the past 4 or 5 weeks or whatever, so how long have we been in lockdown for?
Well, for that longer than that, Dave.
Longer than that is.
About 9-10 weeks now. Like.
Oh my God, man. Okay, so over those 9-10 weeks, I must have funded or backed about 6 different comic book projects, all on Kickstarter.
Mate, that's good though, you're giving back.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye. And honestly, the stuff I'm reading is by far better than any stuff I've read before. It's great.
Do you think that the lockdown stuff has kind of forced people, not even forced them, but like folk have got nothing else to do, man, so it's just people are just creating a lot more freely?
Aye, I think so. I think, you know what, creating a lot more freely, I think that is probably the best. The people get more time in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
See if you're working, 35, 40 hours a week, on a good day. If you work in the catering industry, sometimes you do 50, 60, something even more. You don't have much time to do anything else.
Yeah.
And if you've got to obviously spend time with the family and all that, and your own free time is pretty much non-existent. So, lockdown is definitely giving people, I think, just more opportunity and more time in their hands to create and do stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's allowing people to kind of have a little look at what am I actually doing here? Am I happy with this? With what I've kind of just fallen into?
Mm-hmm.
You can go, well, actually no. So you can kind of, well, I can still achieve this amount of work with things like Zoom and like you were saying, working remotely, and it allows people to go and, like you say, go and create more and kind of. I think there will be some, like you say, some definite silver linings come out of this, and I think, like you said,
I fully agree.
Definitely falls firmly into that category.
It'll be interesting to see actually at the end of lockdown the amount of people that have used their time wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think I've said this a couple of times on the podcast that you see the people who will prosper when lockdown finishes are the people who didn't just lie there and sit and watch Netflix and eat pizza. Do you know what I mean? It's people who either studied or did what you're doing, Dave, do you know what I mean? And tried to further...
Started a podcast.
Brilliant.
Aye. No, you're totally right. It's the people that have went for, I'm not going to sit in my ass wait for McDonald's opening up. I'm going to go and do something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
By the way, the world's gone mad since McDonald's opened up. Like literally seeing people queued up like for miles down the street just to get I'll be honest, Big Macs are all right, but I don't like them that much. You know what I mean?
You know what? My pal posted up on Facebook a couple of days ago. He's like, I have never had a meal that has been that good that I would wait 3 hours for it.
Yeah.
100%.
I wouldn't even wait for a Michelin star meal for 3 hours.
Exactly. You're just not going to do it, are you?
Nah, rather than some 3-minute hot boxed, dried out, dehydrated cow's udder on a couple of buns, man. I'm going to sit here and wait because I'm choking for a big tasty. I'm scratching myself with the fucking. Do you know what I mean? Fuck off.
Aye, fuck off. You're like, I want that plastic cheese. see the thing with McDonald's, right? You'll have seen this before. They've done an experiment and they got a Big Mac with a portion of fries, and they got a homemade burger with a portion of homemade chips, and they put them underneath a kind of underneath a cover, and they left them for about a month, and they came back and they looked at them, and the homemade burger is all mouldy and rotten and shriveled away and nothing. The Big Mac and fries is exactly the same.
Oh my God!
No.
You know what I mean? Exactly. If you think about that, you're just like, even the fucking
even mold's gone mad.
Even mold.
Pass.
Aye, exactly. That tells you everything. Listen, I like a burger and a Big Mac and myself. There's nothing better when you're a bit rough. And like,
oh, aye.
Oh, aye.
I found the cheese and I am brown the side. Like, yes, here we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not the Q3 hours.
No, but it doesn't warrant the excitement.
Nah.
I mean, I get it. It's been shut for ages and all that. But you're right. See if the highlight of your day is, oh my God, I can see that big yellow M in the fucking distance.
Aye.
Fucking
Aye.
take a day off.
Reevaluate your life.
Aye.
Go find a mirror. Look at it.
Am I making the best life choices here?
Exactly.
Dave, are you going to put a kind of fast food franchise in Glass City?
I have never thought about it.
Just a disgruntled McDonald's worker, just like casually scrunching up bits of rat feces into people's burgers. Enjoy that.
Do you know what? That is the kind of storyline that would fit perfectly in Glass City.
Dave, just give me a call, mate. I'm full of that stuff. It's all locked up here in the Greg Chalmers Mine Cinema.
Not too sure if I want to get in there.
Sorry,
No, you don't.
It's an X-rated film. So Dave, getting back to the comic, right? Rather than just slaughtering people. I know. Have you got any plans to? Obviously, this is all very new, right? But have you got any plans for either expanding the world of Glass City or doing something completely different?
I mean, I've got a ton of stories all based around Glass City and based around the characters that I've created. I've not created a new character. Well, that's not actually totally true. No, I've got a lot of different stories based around Glass City. So what do I see when you say expand in the world? I'll expand the city and the kind of backing stories to the general world as it is. But I've got no real plans to expand the city. I'll expand the stories out from the city. Mm-hmm. It's got to stay within that city.
But I just think it'd be really interesting if, like, one of the characters, I don't know, had to go up to Glencoe. And the ghost of the McDonald clan are up there.
Loch Lomond will feature in one story.
Really? Are they dredging a body?
Hey, Greg!
Sorry,
Dave. Plotline just ruined
right now. Sorry, Dave. Sorry.
No, so you know how you said it was obviously like 100. You've got like a kind of 100-year span from 2020. Is that kind of? Are you going to be? Is your writing style just going to be completely chronological, or are you going to be?
No, back and forward.
Years and coming back and.
Aye, back and forward. It'll really just depend on what fits in with the storyline. What time of year I'm going to set it. That's really it. That's it in a nutshell. The thing is I like modern day stuff or present day stuff, but I like the sci-fi element to things as well.
Yeah.
So obviously when you go sci-fi, you've got to go further in the future. If you want to do modern stuff, then you just do it present day. So that's the only reason. It's just to give it a bigger scope of writing different styles of stories.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's
really
interesting.
Dave, obviously the kind of the topics that you're covering in the graphic novels, you said yourself, are not exactly family friendly, right?
No.
So what does your mum and dad think about you writing about all this stuff?
They are incredibly proud of their boy.
Because am I right in saying your dad was a police officer, right?
Aye.
So right there, you've got a character, haven't you?
Aye. He actually may appear in one of the comics. So I mean, they're obviously incredible. I mean, you know what? There's always a little bit of apprehension when I'm given read the comic to Lisa's family, for example. I mean, it's hard-hitting storylines. So when I'm handing the comic over, I'm always a little bit, how are they going to find this? But they know fine well that it's not for kids. It's supposed to be hard-hitting. They respect it and they support it. That's the main thing.
That is good. So where do you see all this going, Dave?
Who knows, mate? I'm waiting for Netflix to give me a call.
You're sitting beside the phone for days.
Hello. I've got no idea. Like I said, I'm in this for fun, and that's literally what I'm doing. I'm doing it for fun. So as long as I keep enjoying doing it, I'm going to keep on doing it. As long as everything that's happening right now is it's not costing me anything. It's keeping, I'm making all my money kind of back on it. So it's, as long as I can stay afloat that way, then I'll be happy to keep on going.
So how long is it going to be? See, when you're saying it's getting released in October, how big is the graphic novel? How long is it?
So the first one will be 68 pages.
Right. Okay.
And it'll be told over a maximum of 3 parts. I was just reading, just before I came on here, I was just reading the second part and the third part, just before I came on, and I'm debating whether or not to make it into just 2 parts.
Oh.
See how it goes. It depends how the funding goes. I'm a great believer. I hate comic books that just go on and on and on and never stop. It actually was a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
TV shows that have no ending. It just, what's the point in it?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I like a conclusion. So you know what, it doesn't matter what conclusion. It's just as long as it goes, fine, I can move on to something else. So each story will have a conclusion. It will be no more than 3 parts.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Ideally, if I can do it in less, then I'll prefer to do it in less.
So, see, apart from the Kickstarter, how can people get it?
Well, they can't right now.
All right.
At the moment, it's only through Kickstarter. However, once the Kickstarter is completed and the comic's done, I will upload it onto different sites, Comixology, Artismetic, all that kind of stuff. And I obviously, when I do that, I'll post on Facebook and social media. That's the way you can get it. Artismetic is a really good one. I had a Zoom meeting with them a couple of weeks ago, and they're a print-on-demand service.
All right.
Which is really good. So, you just basically upload your book onto that. Guys come along, buy it, they print a single issue off, whatever it is, and post it out, and you're good to go.
Wow.
And then the money gets distributed. And they're really, really good. I mean, they're totally into the kind of comic book game, and they don't seem like money grabbers. They obviously want to, make a lot of money and all that kind of stuff, and obviously break even at least. But they're certainly down to earth guys. So I'm hoping that I'll have a nice working relationship with them.
Ah, good, mate.
So do you know what? I didn't even think about that. Like, so I would have just had this image of you. Basically, you sat there with just boxes and boxes of comic books and just going, "Fuck, I need to sell these." I'm going to buy my comic book.
Get used as coasters, trays and all that.
But no, I suppose a print-on-demand thing. It's like really, really, really good way of doing that. Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. It's the only one I know so far that's done that. So I'm definitely going to upload it on there as well. There will be some element of me having boxes and boxes of comic books just sitting in the house. Because I want to go to Comic Cons and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. I went there.
He's
Stand there with a banner like, "Hello, how's it going?" Who's going to the pub after this? So I wanted to have some part of that. I also spoke to that guy, the Haggis Slayer, I think he's called. And,
great name.
Fantastic.
I already like him.
And he puts his comic books out in FOP and HMV. And all he said was you have to fill in a form, and it's normally for music. However, they said they'd sell a couple of their issues. So I'm going to do stuff like that. I'll basically just search and find places to sell them, and then just let people know that's there.
Wow, mate, that's that. I mean, do you know it's good that all of this new stuff is accessible from so many different outlets. It's not just buried away down the depths of the internet. It's I suppose because I think historically more with music, right, that HMV and stuff like that, you would get your top 40 and then maybe a couple of wee bits and pieces. Because I remember when I was younger and being a big emo boy, I used to have to go to Avalanche Records if you wanted stuff that wasn't the mainstream. And I think what you're saying there is that now people can get something that is a bit more alternative from what is essentially a mainstream retailer.
Exactly. I mean, things like HMV and FOP, I mean, obviously with MP3s and all that kind of thing, they're not, they're not, the big business anymore, but they're still floating around. So I think you could probably say that the HMV and the mainstream aren't actually mainstream anymore.
Oh, very much so, eh?
Do you know what I mean? They're slightly, they're kind of, they're lower scale, so to speak. But they're still fantastic places to buy stuff and get stuff out there. So, if they're up for it, I'll definitely
give me a call, man. So you've been in the paper.
Yes, amazingly.
So how did they find out about you?
Do you know what? They just contacted me. I think, to be honest, I think one of my pals' girlfriends, or one of my pals' girlfriend's pal, I think, is a journalist, and I
Okay.
think they put her onto me, and they just contacted me, and I done a little, bit for the Lennox Herald. The Lennox Herald's owned by the Daily Record.
Mm-hmm.
The Daily Record put it up on their social media, and then pretty much everybody in their dog shared it all over Facebook, and it was mad. Just the exposure was insane.
Yeah, it's what I see when something like that happens. Don't know if you remember years ago. I think I told you about this, Dave, when I did the I did the video of that international game of tag thing.
Right.
Do you remember that,
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, I remember this.
So basically, what happened was there was I was photographing at the lodge in Loch Lomond, and one of the guests was involved in this international game of tag, and they've been playing it for.
I remember you telling me this actually.
Yeah,
People.
and it was basically the woman had flown from somewhere in America
That's right.
and dressed up as like an old woman. And she was like pretending to do the gardening. And so I knew this was happening, but the person who was about to be tagged did not. So I'm standing there and I've got my phone in my pocket filming it and then pretending to take pictures. And then I said to him, I was like, somebody tell that gardener to move. And then the guy who eventually ended up getting tagged, he turned around and he went, sorry, can you move out the road? And this lassie just bounced up and was like, tag! And did a boost, and then literally, mate, didn't even hang about, got back in a taxi, and then flew back to to the airport, and then flew back to America, and so that went up. That, I swear to God, that went up. It went to it was in national press within like a day, right? And then I was getting voice notes of people recording it on their phones. It was on Radio 1.
That's right.
It was on Good Morning Australia.
Is that right?
They actually did a video call with the two of them, and you just hear my voice going, "Somebody tell that gardener to move." But Good Morning Australia, and
That's amazing.
I think actually I was talking to someone about it not so long ago, and the video I think is up to like 49 million views. I never get one credit.
No one
Steve fucking filmed it.
Nobody even phones me up.
I know, but yeah. So what you're saying there is, but it spreads. It is crazy because it starts off as just a wee kernel like that, and then poof,
Boom.
and it goes all over. I mean, Reuters phoned me. There was all these news agencies phoning me, asking me to comment on it and all that. And I think because it tied in with the movie Tag, I think it was getting released about 3 or 4 weeks after it.
All right.
It just went everywhere, mate. It was crazy.
If you can get that kind of exposure, it really does help. It's good. It's good. You can't. I don't think you can get it all the time. You've got to be incredibly lucky. I was incredibly lucky that I think my friends shared it and shared it and shared it and shared it and shared it, and then their friends shared it and shared it and shared it.
Mm-hmm.
But that obviously doesn't happen.
No. So Dave, what's the next stage then? And you're in the process of getting this out there. So you've smashed Kickstarter. You've done it.
Totally smashed it. Last time I looked, 126% or something like that. Maybe even more now. I don't really know. I keep looking at it thinking, Dave, stop. You've got stuff to do. Go and see your kid. Your child's crying over there. Go and see that. So the next step is, the campaign will still run for another 28 days. Kickstarter works as an all and nothing platform. So you either earn it all or you don't get any of that.
Oh, really?
Somebody passed that anyway, right? So, but it still has to run for the full 28 or the full 30 days, whatever it is. So 28 days left. Once that happens, Kickstarter will then take all the proceeds from it. They will take their own fee, and then I think it's 21 working days. They'll then transfer it back to me. Once I've got that all sorted, I can start handing it out to the artist, to the letterer, and we can get to work basically.
So see how you've exceeded the amount you were looking for.
Yeah.
Does the remainder of the balance, are you going to put that into the next?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, whatever's left over will go on to finishing off this story arc. Whatever's left over, I won't take a single penny for myself.
Oh, mate, that's admirable, mate.
The thing is the way I see it is this: see, once the book is finished, I've got it. That's it. After that, I can start selling it and then decide what I'm going to do with it. But I've got to get the book finished first, and I can't afford to do it myself. It's expensive stuff.
Yeah.
doing a comic book. You're talking about £50 a page. You know, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. It's expensive stuff. And then that's just the artwork and the lettering. That's not printing and shipping and all that kind of stuff. So yes, Lisa's looking at it every time, just going, "There's no money in this at all." And I'm like, "Nah, there's not." But once the book is finished and I've got it, after that I can decide what I'm going to do with it.
Wow.
So will it be out kind of print only, or are you looking at doing kind of digital versions of it as
I'll
well?
I'll definitely look at doing digital versions. It's a bit different. There's a few different file types you need to look into. But no, I'll put it onto every platform that I can possibly put it on. You know, so I'll definitely look into it all. I'm looking into it all, actually.
Yeah.
Right, Dave, well, I think we'll call it a day there, mate. Listen, I'm incredibly proud of you.
Thank you.
I've known you for a long time, mate, and I think what you've done is it's exceptional, and especially for you to get the level of funding that you managed to get and what is essentially the blink of an eye, I think is a testament to you as a writer and as a person.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all, not a problem. So I'm just going to sign off just now, but don't hang up yet, guys. Right, okay, folks, if you hit those like and subscribe buttons.